So this is just going to be a quick little video showing off my comic process and what to expect from Patreon. This one's going to be live. So if you're interested in donating at the either level, you'll be seeing the comic process. And this is just a little short Twitter group challenge we had done before Christmas. And we were to pick a female cast of superheroes to write a short comic pitch or like one scene or something with these characters. And it was like a contest to do before Christmas and whatnot. So I chose Stell from Low. She has an amazing sense of hope that brings along with it determination. If you've ever read Low by Remender, art by Greg Tocchini, one of my favorite series, hands down. It's depressing, but in all the right ways. Like, it shows you how to hold on and fight through all the bad times. Then you have Debbie Decay from Tokyo Ghost, just total badass. One of my other favorite. Remender wrote it. Sean Gordon Murphy drew it. I can't say too many good things about it. I love that story. Then you have Gert from I Hate Fairyland. Just an insane wild card that would be good on any team, really. She usually tends to stay in her own lane. She doesn't get along with other people. That's why she's a real wild card on this team. Then you have Ruby Summers, which is Cyclops' daughter, with Emma Frost, I think it is. But she's got black eyes. She's just a crazy powerhouse. And then you have Casca from Berserk as a leader. And I got to thinking about it. Me and a couple friends had been throwing around this idea of having a female Rocket Raccoon. And when I started throwing these together, all I could think of was the red panda that followed Debbie Decay around. And her getting kidnapped and turned into a rocket, but then her name becoming Booster, just as a play on that. So this is a completely unfiltered process. Like, this is how I kind of write stories. When I was thinking all this up, I first came up with this drawing. And like, this is the final splash. Like, this is where I wanted things to lead. So I had to figure out how to get there. And I'll show it off again. But you needed 5 pages. So you had to figure out just how to write it so everything made sense. I usually write on this dry erase board. I have a pack of dry erase markers, all the different colors of the rainbow, just so I can separate ideas, characters, plot shifts, things like that. So you have all these characters up here. This is basically the team. Over here you see scientist who made Rocket, stole Debbie's panda. That's the big point. And then a side to that was the scientists also employed these Sentinels from the X-Men, and that was what brought Ruby into the story. So let me adjust the camera just a little bit. So basically, just running down the story, after the events of Tokyo Ghost, Debbie's off to make the world right. She sent an EMP throughout the world that basically killed all the electronics, and now she's trying to make sure people are fine and can be taken care of. Finds Stell near the ocean, which makes sense because Stell lives underwater, and because radiation from the sun basically drove them underwater. Comes across Casca, broken down next to a tree. Has happened many times in Berserk. She's a strong leader, but she also needs times to fall apart, so she can piece herself back together. Then you find them running into Ruby, kind of coming across, trashing these Sentinel services. Then when all these four have made it to fighting each other, then they stumble Gert kind of stumbles across them and like runs off because she had seen this panda being kidnapped and reminded her of someone. That was the point where I knew this was kind of a little fun little project, was because if you don't know this, Skottie Young drew Rocket back in 2015, I believe, and J.K. Parker drew the second half of like their 11 issue run. But I thought it was a meta nod to have her realize that Skottie Young had kidnapped this red panda to turn it into a Rocket replacement. And the only reason she knew about that is because they were drawn similarly when she saw them being kidnapped. So, over here, you have the panda getting curious and searching, but gets kidnapped. So this is basically the setup, and this leads into the action. Gert, who she is, reminds her of, obviously, Rocket. That was drawn by Skottie Young. Knows where the lab is. Actually, Skottie Young's drawing table. Cuts to Panda being made into Booster. And then you have this end splash scene where, let me adjust that just a little bit. So you have Booster in this cage. Gert spots her. Casca coming up with a plan. She has their back towards the Sentinels and whatnot. Then you have 3 separate panels where Stell is agreeing, Debbie gets ready, and then Ruby drops her sunglasses so you can see those cool eyes. And then she says it's too late for that. And then you have this whole scene play out where you have the group over in this corner, Gert running towards the Sentinels, yelling Leroy Jenkins. And that's kind of the scene I had playing out. I love these cute little Sentinels, these quick ones that I drew. This kind of gives a little better idea of that group shot. And then trying to break this down into panels. So you have page 1 right here, where you have Booster getting kidnapped in the middle of the night. Close up on the panda's eyes, and then Debbie trying to rescue her and getting knocked on the head. From which we would find out was Skottie Young in like an exosuit. Then you have pages 2 and 3. This first panel would be stumbling across Stella, finding Casca. No. Let's see. Coming across Stella. Casca would be the middle of the page. And then finding Ruby, coming across Ruby, like smashed up the Sentinel. And then Ruby looking at them. And then this kind of shot where they're next to a tree, kind of showing where they are in relevance to each other, and then you see somebody off in the distance, like hiding behind a tree. They notice Gert. They get ready to attack. You have Debbie like kicking her in the face to tackle her, and then kind of figuring out why that she's following her and then whatnot. And then these last 2 pages, where that splash page, you have Gert noticing and then taking off Stell, Debbie, and then Ruby knocking her glasses down, saying it was too late. And then you have Booster in a cage, like reaching towards Gert as she's running over there. So that's basically somewhat of the process. I wanted to show off, give you an idea of what to look forward to if you want to support me on the YouTube, on this Patreon channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this kind of stuff, showing my process for my own comic. So if you dig this, you're going to get at least one of these a month, showing the process of what I came to, the ideas that I did on certain aspects. At this end of this video, I will also take a second to personally thank everybody that is supporting me on Patreon, because it's a big deal to me. You have enough presence to feel like I'm worth supporting, and that means a great deal to me. So thank you, Jan, Carolyn, thank you, Marshall, and thank you, Jeff. You guys supported me a lot through 2017, and I hope I can have your support going forward in 2018. And I'm looking forward to doing videos like this for Patreon exclusives. So we'll check you out in the next video, and I'll be catching up with my SketchUp series on YouTube as well. So thanks for all the support, and we'll check you out in the next video.